There was a time that I truly thought my best days were behind me. I was quite overweight, I was exhausted, and I believed that any chance I had had of happiness had sped on past me in the fast lane. But somewhere deep down, I had this little flicker that maybe, just maybe, I could burn a bit brighter again. And that little flicker refused to die. And that changed everything. I vividly remember sitting on my bed when I was twice the size that I am now, surrounded by coloring books, surrounded by my 3,000 designer pencil crayons. Yes, that's a thing. And coloring books from around the world, perfecting how to do a lock of hair so the sun was shining on it just so, and waiting for my next opportunity to eat. That was my day after day after day. I wasn't thinking about losing weight. I wasn't thinking about life. I was just kind of in a hibernation mode, and the only real goal was to get the next meal and finish coloring my page. Then, that day, the one that changed everything. And it all came rushing at me like a tidal wave hit me. I know I've told this story before, but we all have our thing, that moment that changes everything. Yours might look a lot different than mine, and that's okay. But today I'm going to share with you today what happened on that hot, hazy day in July 3 years ago when the AC wasn't working and I was twice the size I am now, and my daughter came to visit. I was sitting on my bed, and that same half-hidden, not wanting to deal with the world way that I did day after day, and she came in, and she looked quite distraught. And I looked at her, and I was like, "Are you okay, honey?" And she hesitated, which she never does, because she's quite confident and quite outspoken, especially when it comes to me. And I said, "Are you okay?" And she hesitated again. And I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "Mom, I'm just so sad." And I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "The babies are never going to know their Nana. They're never going to know you." Now, my twin baby granddaughters were 5 months old at the time. And here's the thing. As much as I hibernated, when I got in front of those two little faces, they were smiling at me. They didn't see fat Nana. They saw Nana who loves them, who sings to them, who took so much joy in them. They felt it. They showed it. They lit up their two little faces side by side in their bassinets. My daughter told me that I had a lot of health issues at the time, and it hit me really, really hard. I wasn't going to be there to watch their fat little legs running through the yard. I wasn't going to be there for their first ballet lesson. I wouldn't be able to teach them how to read. I'd miss their first day of school. I'd miss them in their awkward teenage years. And I certainly wouldn't see them get married. And that really stuck in a way that nothing ever had. I tried dieting. I had tried different fasting, but I just couldn't stick to anything without gaining it back. But this was a reason that I stuck to. I had health issues that were mostly weight related, and I had to change them. Hi there, my name is Easter. I like to share with you my story about how I lost 200 pounds on my channel and what I did to lose it and keep it off, working on both my inside and my outside to get to a place where I not only lost the weight, I kept it off, and I found a place of happiness and peace that I didn't expect. That life I had back then, I wasn't thinking about my health. I wasn't thinking about my future. I wasn't thinking about anything to get healthy. It was just like, oh, another doctor's appointment, another cardiologist appointment. Ugh, why do I have to do these things? I did not take it seriously that I had some issues that were serious until I did. So that very day, I did something I never did. I pulled out my laptop and I researched how to get healthy, how to lose weight. what I needed to do. So I looked up what I could eat. I looked up support groups. I looked up exercises for people that were quite immobile, which I was, because if I walked 10 or 15 feet, I was losing my breath, panting and sweating. And I decided to change how I ate. Now, I kind of did this cold turkey when it comes to the food part, but the rest of it was very gradual, and there's a lot I learned along the way. And that day I decided I was never going to have sugar, flour, or triple portions or double portions again. I would have 2 liters of water a day, and that is what did it. I didn't have any fancy nutritionist diet. I didn't weigh and measure, and I know some people need to. This isn't a cut or a jab to anybody. It just worked for me, and it was simple, and I needed simple, and it was easy-ish. I mean, the first week, maybe not so much, but it was easy to plan around. And even though I wanted to lose all of my weight right away, it seemed that the lose fast cards were against me. Past menopause, over 50, 350 pounds, no thyroid, and other health issues. So I thought, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to try anyhow. I made a plan for myself, and I did everything I could to set myself up for success. And I admit to you, starting it was not easy. Number one, it was a drastic change. So the first thing I did was go through my house and get rid of everything that I knew I shouldn't be eating. How many packages of chips, cookies, snacks, all the stuff I shouldn't eat. I couldn't get rid of bread because I live with my kids, but I got rid of everything, including bags of sugar that I used to put in my coffee. And then I made myself a menu. The menu was healthy looking. It had protein, it had vegetables, it had a little bit of carbs, a little bit of healthy fat, it had a little bit of everything. I have food videos if you want to see them. And I thought, I can live with this, which was a good thought. But the reality was the first week was really difficult because I was in some pretty bad eating habits. The overeating, the eating between meals, the I don't know why I'm eating, the oh, it would just be really nice if I could eating. I mean, excuses. It was all excuses, but my habit was to go to food several times a day. Breaking that took a good week, maybe 2 weeks. And what I did was I planned around it. So instead of reaching for food, I put hobbies in place. I set myself up with things that interest me. For instance, I like learning languages, and at the time I was trying to learn Japanese. I didn't do very well. I don't know anyone Japanese, and I wasn't crazy about the TV shows that were available at the time. And then I started knitting and crocheting because when we eat, we keep our hands busy, and my hands wanted something to do, and knitting and crocheting were a fantastic hand and brain thing because I was busy thinking about what to do and my hands were busy doing it. These things made a big difference to me. One of my top go-tos was water. I decided to drink 2 liters of water a day, and the reason I chose that was because number one, it was recommended health-wise. Number two, it kept my stomach full when I was hungry. Number three, it helps flush all the toxins out, everything. Water's just endlessly good for you. I also increased a habit I already had. I'm a lifetime journaler. I've been journaling since I was about 10. But I made a point of adding to how I journaled. I started thinking about how I was feeling when I wanted to eat and how I felt when I succeeded in following through with my plans. And I started recognizing patterns when I wanted to eat, what was going on and why it was happening. And recognizing those patterns was instrumental in my weight loss because I learned that if I was feeling really agitated and bothered and someone had stressed me, I could think about it. I could write about it. I would list of what was going on, just every feeling I had, then step back a minute, take a few breaths, maybe take a couple of minutes, try to pray or meditate about it to calm down, then go back to the list and look at it. And it was like, Why would you think that? That's a little out of perspective. And that bullet list method became invaluable for me because it helped me gain perspective when my feelings were out of perspective. And that's something that I had to train myself to do. But at this point, no, much sooner. It became, after maybe 4 to 6 months, second nature to me. And I instinctively pull back when I'm feeling a little uptight, when I'm feeling a little angry, when I'm feeling a little stressed. I pull back and I ask myself what's going on and why I'm not feeling calm, why I'm not feeling peaceful, why I'm not feeling happy. I examine it, I write about it, I talk about it, and deal with it, and I'm done. The feelings go, and I get past my moment of craving. And that was something I wouldn't have thought possible, but it's true. I also kept myself busy. I did not leave slots in my day where I was doing nothing because that was a dangerous time for me. So instead of just sitting and coloring, I had a plan from when I woke up until when I went to sleep, and I didn't get off that path. And that was important because if you're really busy, you don't have time to think about food. When I was really busy, I didn't have time to think about food. I was too busy doing what I planned to do. And that was a great way to distract myself. It took up the mental real estate that used to say, have some food, have some food, have some food. Now saying, oh, you're on line 182 and don't forget to slip this stitch and don't forget to cross over this. And I can't wait to try that new color wool. And I'll be honest with you, not every day was a good day. And I didn't do it perfectly. I messed up. There was the cheesecake day that I thought I could have a little bite of, which became, oh, I didn't really taste that. Then I had a big bite of it. And I was like, oh, that's really, really, really good. Wow, do I ever miss that? To eating the whole piece, then, well, there's another piece in there. I might as well have just a little bit since I've already blown it. Which became 3 pieces, which stayed at 3 pieces because that's all that was left. I was mortified. Mortified. I thought I'd blown it. I thought, oh my gosh, I've blown it for life. So I got out my journal. I bullet pointed how I was feeling. I prayed about it. I looked at my list and thought to myself, I've blown it for life? Wait a minute, I've been doing this a year. Am I going to let one little misstep tell me that I'm a failure? Am I going to let one mistake be my identity? No, 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 no. It was not going to steal my progress from me. It was not going to dictate who I am. It only reminded me who I wasn't anymore, and that's okay. So I jumped right back on the lane. I got back into being productive. I got back into the strategies I used, and I never again slipped up because I saw the danger and I saw the way I wanted to go back into my old thinking patterns, and I was not going to go there. One of the things that was hard for me to face was the fact that I knew that I had to get mobile. I had been doing as little as possible for about 5 years, and getting up or moving purposefully was like, but why? It's not going to make a difference. But I knew I had to. So I started off with really simple ideas like chair exercises, like dancing on my bed or dancing in a chair. And that was enough for a while. But after a few months, my son started, Mom, let's go for a walk. No, honey, I can't walk. I can't walk more than 10 or 15 feet without losing my breath. Mom, let's go for a walk. Maybe tomorrow, honey. Okay, I'm not feeling good. The next day, Mom, are we going for a walk tonight? You said we're going for a walk tonight. No, honey, we're not going for a walk tonight. I'm really achy. Can we go tomorrow? He did this for a month. My child is persistent. My child is stubborn. My child is determined. Wonder where he gets it from. But eventually, I got so tired of him asking me. I'm like, fine. Just don't push me to go far. So I got dressed, I put on some comfortable shoes, I reluctantly headed to the door, and out we went and I walked 2 blocks. 2. That's all I could do. And there was a bus stop there, thank God, because I was all out of breath. I was sweating like a pig. I was panting like I'd never taken a breath before. And I sat there for 10 minutes, gathered myself together, got up, and walked the 2 blocks home. And I thought, thank God, I'm finished with that. But then I thought, wait a minute. You just walked 2 blocks. You just walked 2 blocks. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I was so happy. And I said, okay, every day you're doing this. Every day, every day, every day. And I did. I did it very purposefully. I did it very slowly and kindly to myself because 2 blocks was enough to start. But eventually I said, try 4. And I did it. And the thing is, it took a few days of adjustment, but that panting and breathlessness and the fast heartbeat and the sweating that happened after 15 steps went away. It was like my body said, oh, we're walking again. Okay, we're doing this. It took maybe a week or so, but my body slipped into, we're going for a daily walk. Okay, let's do this. And I was like, really? We're not sweating anymore? We're not panting? How did that even happen? I didn't believe that could happen, but it did. And I was really grateful for that. And walking then became not only walking, but it became a goal met. And it became an impossible thing now possible. It became something that helped my momentum move forward. It helped me be motivated to do more. It was a win, a big win. And I kept going a little bit further, every 4 or 5 days, increasing how far I went. And after, I think it was 14 months, I got to the 10K mark. And that's a lot. It's about 5-ish miles. For somebody who was never moving more than 10 or 15 feet, that's a big deal. Now I can go 14, 15, even more than that kilometers if I want to. I just don't notice it anymore because my body's so used to it, and I enjoy it because my walks give me time to sift through my thoughts. And I'm a thinker. I'm always thinking. And my thoughts settle. I start off with a little bit of prayer. I then journal. I'm busy, so my journaling happens by dictating. I dictate into my phone as I walk, as I do the dishes, whatever I'm doing. I use my journal incessantly. It is my go-to. It is my place to reflect, my place to sort things through, to remember the happy things, to sometimes acknowledge the harder things. And I find a lot of peace in journaling. So I take my phone with me and I dictate for maybe 20 minutes, and then I just walk with music. I don't just walk, I dance as I'm listening, and I have my phone in my hand and I'm dancing away. And sometimes people look at me from their car and I'm like, sorry, but I just have fun. I don't care if someone's looking at me. I enjoy myself. If they look at me, it doesn't change my life. It doesn't change my day. It doesn't change my walk. It doesn't change my fun, because my fun is mine. It's not determined by somebody looking at me in a car. It's me. I get to decide if I'm happy. I get to decide if I want to keep dancing through life. There was another day I found really challenging, and that was a day where I had been out with my sister, and there was a Portuguese bakery shop just down the way a little bit, and she said, oh, do you mind if we stop there? And I was like, no, that's fine. She said, are you sure? I was like, no, it's fine. She said, but the custard tarts. I said, oh, but the custard tarts. I said, no, I'm fine. Let's go. So we went into the Portuguese bakery, and I walked maybe 6-7 feet in, and then right in front of me, there they were, a whole rack, stack after stack, tray after tray of beautiful little custard tarts, shining their little golden faces up at me and saying, hi, we missed you. And I'm looking, thinking, oh, I miss you so much. Oh, I just love you. I forgot how much I love you. And I sat there with this internal dialogue, which was ridiculous. And I'm thinking, well, I can have just two. And then I was like, no, you can't. Remember the cheesecake? I was like, yeah, remember the cheesecake. Okay, sorry guys, I can't do this. Because custard tarts were my first put weight on thing. It started with going for coffee every week with my friend, and we would get a coffee and a custard tart. And then it became a coffee and two custard tarts for me. And then it became a coffee and two custard tarts and bring 12 home for the family. But in the car, I would eat six because I didn't want them to think I got 7 or 8 of them, because that just doesn't make sense. You order a dozen, you order half a dozen. So I would pretend I only ordered half a dozen. I packed on more pounds with those things than I could even begin to tell you. Anyhow, she got the custard tarts. We got home. She ate them with me. And I didn't mind. I was like, no, I just don't need to go there. I don't need to have it. I don't even miss it anymore. I had a moment in the bakery that I missed it, but that was it. It was just like, no, I'm not going to lose the progress I've made over a custard tart. For Pete's sake, no. Another one of the things I also included that later came into my weight loss journey was putting structure in my day. Now, that's not a typical thing people do to lose weight, but there is a method to my madness. So I started just a simple thing: getting up, shifting off the bed, standing up, making my bed, and saying a prayer of gratitude. And then I headed down to make my coffee. So why am I telling you about structure in my day and saying a gratitude prayer and making my bed? Because these things actually did something that did help my weight loss. They started my day off in a positive way. I'm saying thank you for the good things instead of grunting and grumbling and begrudging my upcoming day. Ugh, I have to do this and I have to do this. No, it's wow, I'm just so thankful for the babies. I'm so thankful for my children. And I didn't just say the babies, I would say why I was thankful for them. I didn't just say my children, I would go through why I was thankful for them. Put me in a really good headspot. Making my day, how did that help me? Because already I had accomplished something. My theory is that you keep looking at the positive that you do each day. You dwell on that positive. You keep building on the positive. And then when something faces you that you know you don't want to do, like you're feeling like, oh, I just need some. It's like, wait a minute, you've done so much to build your day today. You're having a great day. Don't ruin it. And you're able to say, yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm not going to ruin it. And so I added to that structure daily. I put schedule in. I kept myself busy. I made myself productive. I spent purposeful time with the babies. I spent time with my daughter when she was on her maternity leave. And like I said, it was about putting positive outcome in my day, day after day, so that I could keep moving forward. It's powerful. It's not a weight loss thing, so to say, that's orthodox, but it was a weight loss thing to me because it kept me in a positive mindset. And to me, your mindset is everything. My faith kept me grounded, because when I needed to pray in those times where I was trying to figure out why I was having an off day, I had somewhere to reach for. And it was simple, not a big deal, but an important part of my journey. Every time I dropped 10 pounds, every time I had my 2 liters of water a day consistently, every time I know I'd gone 2 weeks without even thinking about having some foods that I had chosen not to have anymore, was a victory. And I celebrated each of them because I saw the momentum. I saw the power of focusing on those positive things. And it changed everything for me. I was no longer sitting and feeling sorry for myself and what a terrible life I had, and I was going nowhere with it. Suddenly it was like, hey, I'm doing something. I'm making a difference in my life, and I'm moving forward, and maybe I'll live long enough to see my grandchildren get married. And things that were impossible became maybe improbable, and from improbable became, well, maybe if you stick to it, to wait a minute, to maybe, just maybe, to oh my gosh, I'm so healthy now. My tests are coming back positive, and my energy. I can't tell you the difference in my energy. My energy went from 0 to bouncing around with, when they were 2 years old, 2 little babies bouncing around to music for an hour. And I mean fast music. I put that Flight of the Bumblebee song, and there's this kind of hyped up version. And we dance to it, again, Nana, again, Nana. And if I try to sit down, no, Nana, you not sit down, you dancing. And sometimes they sit on the couch and they say, you dance, Nana. And I'm like, no, I'm not dancing without you. You dance, Nana. And I dance for them. And I keep going, and I keep going, and I keep going. And they love it, and I love it. And I'm so grateful that I have the energy to keep up with 2 little 3-year-olds. That is a gift I never expected. And one of the biggest gifts at all was that in striving for my goal that I thought was impossible and getting there, finally reaching that 200-pound mark, it wasn't that I got confident because of how I look. I got confident because I set a goal. I stuck to it. I stuck through the hard days, and I made it. That is so powerful. I can't even tell you. I am so grateful for that time. I'm so grateful that I made it out on the other side. If I could hand you just a little taste of what it's like to feel this good, the energy, the confidence, the looking at life differently and having peace and joy, I would give you a spoonful, every one of you, if I could. But I can only tell you how I did it, and I hope you make some of the same choices. I would love to know what tickled your spirit with my story and know if anything hit home for you. If it did, leave me a comment. I'm dying to know. And if you're where I was a couple years ago, I want you to know it's not that you can't get out of it. You can, but sometimes you need to believe in yourself enough to take the first step. It's about the first step. It's the hardest one, but once you do it, there's no going back. So if you have any questions, leave me a comment. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Come back soon for more, because I always have more.